Now, we move on to this thing. What is intercession? Intercession is different from all other categories of prayer in one thing. It is appealing for others. We are not praying for ourselves. When we say intercession, prayer and petition can be for us. But it can also be for others. But intercession stands out. I told you there are small differences between these four. It is when we appeal for others. Example, a good example in the Bible is Abraham praying for or appealing for Sodom. You know the story in Genesis chapter 18? Now, one of the greatest interceder is this man. Now, I want you to turn to that chapter Genesis 8, verse 16 onwards. Now the angel comes to Abraham, and they have disclosed to him about the plan that God has from, see, verse 17 says, "Shall I hide from Abraham what I am about to do? No, I will not." Then he says, "I am going to destroy this." Then Abraham, verse 23, approached him and said, "Will you sweep away the righteous with the wicked? What if there are 50 righteous people in the city?" And God said, "No, if there are 50, I will not." Good. Now this is a dialogue between who? Abraham and God. And this is what we call intercession. Now, then Abraham had a second thought. And he said in verse 27, he thought, no, he made a quick calculation. And he thought, no, there may not be 50 people in the city. Right. So he says in 27, then Abraham spoke up again. "Now that I have been so bold as to speak to the Lord, though I am nothing but dust and ashes, what if the number of the righteous is 5 less than 50? Okay, let's make it equal. Will you destroy the whole city for lack of 5 people? That is just what? 45? Will you do? If I find 45 there, God said, I will not destroy it. Once again, verse 29, he spoke to him, "What if only 40 are found?" This is what we call intercession. Is Abraham living in that city? Is Abraham living in that city? If God set fire on the city, is Abraham going to be affected anyway? No, he is living in Hebron. He is not going to be affected. Hebron is on a mountainside. Will it affect wildlife around Hebron? No. The wind is in the other direction anyway. And even those days he never had bothered about it. But why is Abraham interested in it? And you know the number goes down to something like 10. God said no. Fine. See, this is intercession. Praying to God in matters that doesn't affect your normal life. See, Abraham's life is not going to be there. If Sodom Gomorrah is destroyed, who will be destroyed? What is Abraham's loss? Lot. But who is he? He is a rebel. See, we will be praying for, if I was Abraham and my brother's son, like him, who had a quarrel with me and ran away from me and chose the best place that he could find in that place, and I would be very happy that God is bringing judgment upon him. Isn't it? He is consequent to his actions. Now, the issue is, Abraham is an intercessor. He will intercede for that city. He will say, "Lord, those fire and the flame and the sulfur is not going to reach me. And I'm not even concerned about this Lord, but I'm concerned about this city." That's why he's asking. Otherwise, he could have just put it, "Lord, don't touch it, because my brother's son and his family is living there." No, he's asking for, "Lord, please, 50, 45, 40, then might have gone to 5 in steps of 5. What is that called? Jitle, right? The auction site. You auction for 5 rupee, 5 rupee. So means 5 rupee is auctioning down. Now, this is a concern. So this is what Paul says. We should be interceders. intercessors. I'm sorry. We should be intercessors. And there's another beautiful passage of Isaiah 62 verse 1. For Zion's sake, I will not keep silent. For Jerusalem's sake, I will not remain quiet. Till her vindication shines out like the dawn, and her salvation like a blazing torch. Here is Isaiah. He says that I will not keep quiet. See that powerful words. See, I will not keep quiet, and I will not keep still. I'll keep on shouting until God restores Jerusalem or Zion. Now the situation is that Jerusalem is now destroyed. There is no temple. Houses are destroyed. It is burned. It's burned down to ashes. Now he says, I'm not going to keep my mouth shut. I'll keep on disturbing God. Then verse 6 of the same passage says, not only I do that, I'll ask many people to do that. He says, I have appointed watchmen on your walls. You know who are the watchmen? They are not security guards. Please remember that. Watchmen are people who stand on the top of a mountain or a hill or on a wall looking out for things happening around them. So what he's saying is, I am praying, I am bothering God, I am nagging God, and keep on nagging Him until He does justice to Zion. I am going to pray for her, for that city. And I am going to appoint a lot of people who will stand on this wall and watch out for what God is going to do, expecting God to do something. Now, this is an important thing. We pray for ourselves. I know many of us even forget to pray for ourselves. But we have become so confident that we can manage our lives. But I tell you, if you venture into something which you think 100% success is guaranteed, if you don't venture into with prayer, it may be a disaster, may not be today, but tomorrow. That I can guarantee. See, I have a businessman friend who I knew when he was a small guy. And I was talking to him one day. He was going to invest some lakhs of rupees into something which need refrigeration, which need quick transfer because he cannot keep it. It's a huge consignment coming from overseas. And I asked him, brother, are you sure this is going to succeed? Because if there is power failure in Pune, this lakhs of rupees thing will go wasted because it has to be in a refrigerated truck. And then between transfer, if there is a delay in the traffic, it will all go bad. And he told me one thing, and I was very impressed. And he said, no, I'm sure, because I have sought the Lord before entering into this venture. I thank God for him. And he succeeded, definitely. He had some problem with the payment, but he got to make money as well. Because it's a very critical business, very crucial thing. But I'm not saying that you should pray to God to make money. That's the last thing God is interested in. But what I'm saying is, even in such thing, when we get into adventures, when we take risks, we should always seek the guidance of God. That we do. That is prayer. But petition is, we pray for others. That is what I was talking to my wife this morning. When we go through this situation, we should always think of many others who may go through a similar situation. Then I can pray for them, intercede for them. It's not praying for ourselves. But what our saying says that we should pray for ourselves and we should also pray for others. That is interceding. Now, we can transform the same example of Zion. We can transform the cities through our intercession for the city.